Okay guys, we are here at the walls of Jerusalem that you can see behind me. You can see the Dome of the Rock. You can see the gate. This is the Eastern Gate. That's the Golden Gate. Maybe you can see that if you zoom in. But guys, in this message, we're going to talk about the Tekufah. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a word in Hebrew for circuit, for cycle, okay? And you see I have this prayer shawl on, and I'll explain why. Why he said to make fringes and borders, or at the borders or corners of the garment. We'll look at that in Numbers 15. But this relates to the Enoch calendar. So those that you understand the importance of the Dead Sea Scrolls and the calendar of 364 days, we'll have some footage at the end where we show you the sundial that was actually in Qumran, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, that they used to determine the solar cycles, these 4 solar days. So guys, what we're saying is that there's a circuit, there's a cycle of the seasons. So there's 4 seasons in the year, and each, at the conclusion or at each season, is a Tekufah, or a cycle. Enoch describes those as 4 angels that rule over that season of 3 months. So each season has 91 days. Each 2 seasons has 182 days. Now the number 182 relates to the feast of 180 days in the book of Esther. The king holds a feast of 180 days. So 180 days is 6 months of exactly 30 days in the month. So what that means is that there's feasts on a cycle of 180 days. So there's feasts in the 1st month, there's feasts in the 7th month. They're opposite to each other in the year, separated by 6 months. So those 182 days are very significant. It's called a Tekufah. And one of the subscribers got in a conversation with me about this, and so I just decided to do this message because we have a Tekufah coming up tomorrow, or it may be today. I don't by the time you see this, but it's going to be day 182 in the Enoch calendar. All right. Now, we're going to go over some charts, guys. This one you may know as the key to the Enoch calendar. And in it we have the names of the angels attributed to this, this calendar. So this calendar is very important because it is the order of heaven. It is the order of the military. You have 4. As we told you, we have 4 as it relates to lion, ox, man, eagle, and then each 4 has 3. And those 3 have, a total of 12. So there's 12 tribes. There's 12 months, right? Well, there's also, within the 4, there's a Tekufah. There's 4 solar days throughout the year. Now, you probably know that the Jews celebrate something called Rosh Hashanah. Is Rosh is head, and Hashanah year. So head of the year, or New Year's, if you were. Well, there's no such New Year's actually in the scriptures. There's no commandment, there's no feast. It doesn't exist. And it's very clear, the Lord said, month 1 is Nisan, and that's Passover. Okay, so there's no New Year's in the fall. It makes no sense. But let's look at where they're getting this information from, because what they're getting is just a small piece of information that is blown to out of proportion. So there's a verse in Exodus 23:16. It says, the feast of Ingathering, which is in the end of the year. Well, the word end there is yasa. Vinyasa is to bring forth. So it's not really end. It's not an end of something. It's a bringing forth of something. It's a going forth, okay? And it says, when you have gathered your labors of the field. So that's Exodus 23:16. We also have Exodus 34:22. And you shall observe the Feast of Weeks. Okay, Feast of Weeks. When is the Feast of Weeks? It's the third month, right? When you shall observe the Feast of Weeks of the first fruits of the wheat harvest, and the Feast of Ingathering at the year's end. Well, the word end there is tefika, circuit, cycle. Okay, so let's look at this again. You shall observe the Feast of Weeks of the first fruits of the wheat harvest and the Feast of Ingathering at the year's circuit, cycle. So these are cycles. The Feast of Weeks is a cycle. Okay, and shortly after the Feast of Weeks, we would have another tefika. We'd have a conclusion of the spring season at the end of the third month. Okay, and then we have another tefika that is towards the conclusion of the sixth month. All right. So that is really what's going on. Is it's a cycle. Now this cycle we also see in Psalm 19:6. His going forth is from the end of heaven. His circuit, his tefika, his cycle, unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the sun. Okay, so now we have the tefika being attributed to the sun, just like we have in the Dead Sea Scroll calendar. So let's read Psalm 19, verse 6 again. His going forth is from the end of heaven. His tefika, his circuit, to the ends of it. There is nothing hid from the sun. All right. So this is telling us that the tefika is a solar day. A solar day is the solar days in the year, the spring and autumnal equinox, and the summer and winter solstices. There are 4 days. So what the Enoch calendar does, guys, is it takes a year of 360 days and adds 4 days to it. So we know in the scriptures it says 1,260 days. Well, those are prophetic days. That's assuming you have 30 days in every month. But this just doesn't line up with the solar cycle. So you add 4 solar days, and therefore you have 364. So these 4 days relate to these tefika, okay? And it is a feast of 180 days. So these we could even, have a celebration upon, which we do actually. In the first month, the tabernacle is raised. In the 7th month is the feast of Yom Teruah. Okay, so I'm doing this just ahead of Yom Teruah. All right. Now, another thing I want to talk about, I'm going to show you some charts and everything. We'll look at the Enoch calendar real quick. But you can also see that I have a prayer shawl here. Now, this relates to Numbers 15. And the reason I believe that Numbers 15 is talking about a garment and that you have ribbons of blue. You can see it's got blue on it, but the ribbons are white. But ribbons of blue will go on each corner. And what I believe this garment is actually, let's read Numbers 15 and read the verses, what it says. I believe that what the Lord is saying is that this tefika, or this time of the year, is to consider His word, consider His commandments, remind ourselves of His commandments so that we don't go astray. That's exactly what it says in Numbers 15. So Numbers 15, and let's go to 38. Speaking to the Lord and children of Israel, that they speak unto the children of Israel and say to them, they make fringes on the borders of their garments throughout their generations, that they put a fringe upon the border, a ribbon of blue. And it shall be for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, that you may not seek after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you go a whoring, that you may remember to do all His commandments and be holy unto the Lord. Okay, so here we have these fringes as a memorial to remember the Lord. Now, guys, this word in Hebrew for fringe is tzitzi, or tzit, and this is the word that's used in Ezekiel chapter 8. In Ezekiel chapter 8, Ezekiel is taken by the locks of his head, or his dreadlocks, essentially, and taken into visions of heaven and earth. Now, in that vision, Ezekiel sees the throne. Okay, he sees the throne, and the way we're going to look at this is that around the throne that he sees, there's 4 wheels. Okay, so the 4 wheels, like a circuit is a wheel. So there are 4 wheels within the wheels, right? And those, I believe, relate to this order of the Tekufah. Okay, so now what we want to do, guys, is look at some of the charts here that I always show you on the calendar, and within them we can see the Tekufah. We can see these wheels within the wheels. Okay. Okay, guys, so our Tekufah, as it relates to Enoch's description of the calendar, has 4 angels. These 4 angels are leaders or rulers. Whoop, this little wind picked up here. And here in this chart, which you may or may not have seen before, I don't know, but we have these 4 positions of angels here. Okay, now each one would relate to day 31 of their season. Okay, so for example, this one is season 1, and that would begin in the 1st month, 2nd month, 3rd month. The 3rd month, you can see here, the 3rd month has 31 days. Day 31 is a Tekufah, or a circuit or cycle. Okay, and then when we have this, we have the name of this angel here. We have months 4, 5, and 6. Month 6 is the month we're in now, and day 31. Okay, and then in the and so that's summer. Then in months 7, 8, 9 is the fall. This is the leader over those months, and there's angels also attributed, guys, to the months. So there's 12 angels for the months and 4 angels for the seasons. Okay, and so you have 30, 30, 31, and that would be the 9th month, and day 31 is a Tekufah. And at the conclusion of the year, you have months 10, 11, 12. You have this angel, and you have 31 days. So how this works is you have this one is 91 days. Okay, this one is 182. 182 plus 90 is what, 273, I think, and then 364. So these are the markers, or the Tekufah, throughout the year. All right, now let's also look at it in another chart, which we've shown you before, but we have the names of the angels, and they also relate to the stars. So within the stars, we have main positions of constellations, and within them, the Persians call them 4 royal stars. So those 4 royal stars are positioned in the order of the 4 principal constellations in the year, and that is Aldebaran in Taurus, Regulus in Leo, Antares, Scorpio, Fomalhaut, and Aquarius. Okay, so these stars relate to the angels that Enoch is referring to. These 4 angels are stars. Okay, now when you get your Enoch calendar, please do not ask me questions unless you get this calendar. Leland, when is this? When is that? Well, get the calendar. Stop asking me questions if you're not going to get the calendar. You have trouble reading it? Well, then watch the videos. All right. Now, that's what we have. This is the calendar. Okay, these are months 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're right here, day 30. Day 30 of the 6th month. All right, and then we have day 31, Tekufah. So I'm trying to get this posted just on or before the Tekufah. Now, if we look at the calendar this way, turn it on its side, you can see this is a season. And you have the days, and at the end is a Tekufah. So the Tekufah here is the last day. Tekufah here, there. Okay. Then what happens is at the conclusion, at this one, day 31 of the 6th month, The following day would be the next season, okay? And then we have Yom Teruah the next day, okay? And then here's the rest of the Tekufah. Okay, so these are cycles, guys. These are, these I believe relate to the wheels within the wheels, that we see in Enoch, okay? And again, we have the same positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and from that the 12, okay? And that is the order of these days, okay? And we also believe that they're very important, very significant, and actual, feast days. Hey guys, as I conclude this, I want to read the book of Enoch, and I'm just going to read this. This is Enoch chapter 82, and this is where it's talking about these four. And so these are four angels, which we are considering the four Tekufah in a year. Let's see. Let's start with verse 1. Now, my son Methuselah, all the things I have recounted to you, write down, and I have revealed to you everything and given them books concerning these things. So preserve, my son, the books from your father's hand, and see that you deliver them to the generations of the world. Okay. And I have given you wisdom, and to your children, that they may give it to their children for other generations. And this is the wisdom, namely that passes their thought. And those that understand it shall not sleep, but shall listen with their ear and learn wisdom, that they may please those that eat thereof better than good food. Blessed are all the righteous, blessed are those who walk in the way of righteousness, and sin not as the sinners, as in the reckoning of their days, which the sun traverses the heaven, entering and departing from the portals for 30 days, with heads of thousands in order of stars, together with their four, which are intercalated, which divide the four portions of the year, which lead them and enter throughout 4 days, owing to them men that will be at fault, not reckoning them in the whole reckoning of the year. Yea, men shall be at fault and not recognize them accurately. So this is talking about recognizing these 4 days accurately, okay? For they belong to the reckoning of a year, and are truly recorded therein forever. One in the first portal, one in the third, one in the fourth, one in the sixth, one in the completion of 364 days. Now, we have other videos where we talk about the portals. I'll put links in the description field. And the count, therefore, is accurate, and the recording exact for the luminaries and months and festivals and years and days, as Uriel has shown and revealed to me, whom the Lord of all creation of the world has subject the host of heaven. Now, let's listen to that again. The book of Enoch is talking about luminaries, months, and festivals. So these four we could also consider as a festival or a feast. And again, in Esther, it talks about the feast, 180 days, okay? All right. And he has power over the night and the day in the heavens, to cause the light to give light to men, sun, moon, and stars. And all the powers of heaven which invoke the circular chariots, these are the orders of the stars. So here we have also the circles, the circular chariots. The circular chariots are the wheels, okay? Wheels within the wheels, which he has set in their places, in their seasons, their festivals, and their months. These are the names of them which lead them, which are entered in their times, in their orders, in their seasons, in their months, in their periods of dominion, in their positions. Therefore, who divide the 4 parts of the year enter the first. After them 12 leaders, in orders who divide the months for the 360 days. There are heads over the thousands to divide the days, which are 4 intercalary days, which are leaders, which divide the 4 parts of the year. Okay, so here, guys, this is not just time, it is also the order of the Lord of hosts and his army, okay? And these 4 days are dividing up the 360 days, okay? Leader, a leader which stand in their station, leaders make divisions. Again, military order. These are the names of the leaders who divide the 4 parts of the year, which are ordained. And I showed you those before. Names of who lead them. I'm not going to read the names. Which follow the leaders of their stations and divide the 4 parts of the year. In the beginning is one that rises, and his name is, and he divides the sun and the moon, and his dominion bears over 91 days. Okay? And these are the signs of the days which shall be seen in the earth in the days of the dominion, heat, heat, calm. All these trees bear fruit, leaves produce, and all the trees and harvest of the wheat, and the rose flowers, and the flowers which come forth in the field, in the trees of the winter season, and become withered. And these are the names of the leaders of those, and the head of 1,000. Okay, and it goes through this description. And so I'm not going to read all of that, but basically what we have is we have these 4 angels, okay? These 4 angels are 4 Tekufah, 4 cycles, okay? We saw the circular chariot. We're talking about the wheels within the wheels. And these are to remind us, like this garment, of the fringes. These fringes are to remind us of the Lord's commands, of keeping his commandments, that we do not follow after what is after our own heart. So that's what we should be doing going into the festivals and feasts of the 7th month. So guys, thanks for watching. This is going to be a video that's part of the Enoch calendar playlist. So if you're interested in more of the calendar, please watch the other videos in the playlist of the Enoch calendar. So thanks for watching, and the Lord is coming soon. So thanks again. Guys, here we have the very special sundial. Sorry for the glare, but this is the sundial found at the Dead Sea Scrolls. The true calendar. They shall be neither late nor early of their appointed times.